Emily and Claire. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. I'm really glad to have you both back on the judging panel this year. Tell me a little bit about how your sort of experience of the campaign last year, having judged and been involved, and what you think the value is to the industry for these sorts of campaigns in general.
I love this initiative because for me it represents a moving toward the direction of a more sustainable and even more profitable and simply just a more robust industry. Because what we know about equitable representation at the top of any business is that that yields more profitability. So I think this is a fabulous initiative for us to be able to highlight some of the women that are making waves in the industry, striving for that equitable representation and inevitably generating a more profitable and healthy industry.
What would your advice be to someone who comes across the campaign, would love to submit an admission for someone that's either a colleague or a friend or a mentor, but doesn't really know how to fit them into a category of influential women, or is it maybe a bit shy or taken aback by the process and the kind of flashy name around it?
Absolutely. And I think, you know, we need to be each other's biggest allies in this industry as, up and coming leaders, up and coming women. This industry has so much to offer. And I really would encourage anybody that you admire, anybody that influences you. Let's recognize them. Let's shout from the rooftops how incredible they are. And really, one thing that I want to encourage is add as much detail and context as you can. When we're judging, we really want to know, who is this person? All the nitty gritty, all the
Mm.
parts that make up them, why you are submitting them. We base everything on these applications. We're not going to go check their LinkedIn. We're not going to go check other sources. We really want to see this person through your eyes and what they're contributing. So be their biggest champion, be their biggest ally, and tell us everything about them and why you're submitting this application.
I would say, yeah, all of that. And where there's a call or a genuine inspiration, if you've had the thought, should I submit someone? The answer is yes. Go for it.
Agreed. And you guys wrote a really lovely piece last year to kick off the campaign then around what influence means, and it's a very broad term, and people's different understandings of it, and what nominating someone that means a lot or has shown influence over you or your company or your industry means. So just in this sort of concise way, what would you say that influence kind of means, or the definition of influence would be to you guys?
Yeah, for me, influence is in lots of different facets. So it's the way that they show up in business, it's the way that someone shows up for others, where it's a we, not me mentality in the way that they work and the way that they operate on a daily basis that really is so genuine and authentic, right? And for me, I look at other women, I look at Emily and other incredibly strong, powerful women in the industry. They're the people that influence me and inspire me. And, they're the people that I would be nominating. Um, yeah. Do you have anything additional?
Yeah, I mean, influence is interesting because, influence can happen in a myriad of ways, right? Negative, positive, or neutral. And so I think that this campaign
Right.
is really about highlighting those that are having an influence toward a more optimal future. So the way they conduct themselves, the way they, build relationships, their reputation, their integrity, and I guess really the way that they are truly modeling in action what we believe optimal influence to look like.
Right. Where do you think the industry stands in terms of diversity at the moment?
Personally, I think we have a long way to go. I think that we've made significant strides, especially since, I started in the industry probably 15, 16 years ago now. They're a little bit longer. We've seen incredible strides and we're certainly moving in the right direction. I just personally don't think we're moving fast enough. And I say this because when we look
Mhm.
at other industries, or other organizations that are putting diversity at the forefront of what they're doing, we know they are accelerating
Mhm.
their influence in the markets that they stand in. And I really would like to see that for our industry. Full stop.
No, 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 absolutely. Do you have any examples then that you'd like to share in terms of like where you think it's being done right, or there's been a lot of improvements in other sectors?
I think that where we look at organizations that are purposefully investing in initiatives that highlight or support the underrepresented communities within their organization. So, what comes to mind
Mhm.
is in a cybersecurity client that we work with, for example. We've been deploying a leadership development training that started for underrepresented communities within the org and has now evolved into high potentials. But what we know is that
Amazing.
those that have gone through our program compared to a control group have a higher level of retention compared to their counterparts and are being
Mhm.
promoted at an extremely accelerated rate compared to those that have not necessarily been invested in. So I think that those are the initiatives that we can take inside of our organizations. There within every department of an organization, there is an opportunity to assess how we're bringing diversity, equity, and inclusion woven into the fabric of the way we do things, not the way we lead, the way we include, the way we train, the way we onboard, as opposed to just like a box check, like we're going to do this initiative and have like a diversity barbecue next week or something like that. Right. So,
Right.
significant investment that creates sustainable change.
Amazing. I think that's a good place to end. Thank you both, and look forward to working with you on the
Thank you
judging
so much
panel.
for having us again. We're so excited to be here.